Well, hello folks, it's time for another episode of the Logan Pettis Show. Why is it the Logan Pettis Show? Well, because I'm Logan Pettis, it's my show. And we are going to, after what has been an insane week, by the way, we are going to try and unwrap, I say we, it's just me and the voices in my head, or unless you want to count Logan Jr. over here, who's been blocked by the, Batwing here. Quick shout out right here to Raoul Sports Store and Collectibles in Rolling Oaks Mall. There's some free endorsement right there. They made this handsome pillow of a very handsome man right there, and little Logan's gonna be, I don't want to say little Logan's gonna be hanging out, but little Logan's gonna be hanging out with us through the duration of the show. It's a quick, short and sweet show. I just want to quickly talk about what happened at RCW Mania and some of the things that my takeaways from it. So I want to start with something very near and dear, something very personal. I started the show. I walked out and I was like, let me talk to the fans. Let me hype them up. Let me work them up. Let me get them screaming and yelling, because these people are sitting on their hands, folks. You know, the RCW crowd sitting on their hands before the show. They're not hype. We're just playing some wrestling theme music. I have thoughts on playing other wrestlers' theme music, like WWE, AEW, whatever theme songs, before wrestling shows. I know that people get pumped and hyped and psyched and jazzed and all that stuff to hear these theme songs. But to me, it's like you're playing the songs of the people that I might accidentally want to see on this show, and you're never going to see them, so, because we just don't have that kind of budget. And that not just RCW, that goes for everybody, and Brandon and I have had that discussion in the past, and I remember one day I said that, and he goes, man, you're really busting my chops, and so he started playing like 80s music or something, or like dance music. I don't remember exactly what it was, but hey, there you go. So, we start off the show. I walk out to my brand new song, Let Me Entertain You, by the wonderful, entertaining, charismatic Mr. Robbie Williams, big in the UK. Google that. Had a movie came out called Better Man, where he is a chimpanzee for some reason. Actually, I think what would be better is if we would take that movie, let's flip it on its ear, and let's remake the entire film, and everybody else is a chimpanzee, and Robbie Williams is just Robbie Williams. I think that would be crazy. Anyway, I'm full of ideas. None of them are good, folks. So, the Basset Hound decided he wanted to come and join the podcast for a second. So I came out. I'm hyping the crowd. I'm like, hey, and they're getting psyched, and they're excited. And then the next thing I see is, I see Eliana. Eliana's coming alongside of the thing, and she's got her finger up, and I'm like, she is acknowledging me as the tribal chief of RCW, as I am. I am the general manager for River City Wrestling. Raina Pink came out with me, and I gave her a hard time. And so in the middle of this, here comes Eliana. And Eliana gets up on the thing, and she decides that she is going to show her true colors, and she bullies me. She bullies me out of the ring. She comes up and says, you know, nobody cares about what you're doing, and let me show you how it's really done, and you're not the star of the show. Well, let me tell you something, star of the show. If she is the star of the show, you people worship a bully. That is all she is. She is a big bully. She came out and she bullied me. Bullied me right on out of the ring, and then proceeded to say, let me show you how it's done. And then went into her spiel about whatever it is that she does. And I'm here to tell you right now, honey, you're the ring announcer. You're not the star of the show. Work on getting the people over as much as you try to work on getting yourself over. And, you know, hey, we don't have a problem. Again, you're the ring announcer. I've been doing this for 20 some odd years. Maybe not ring announcing for River City Wrestling or Reality of Wrestling or anything like this, but I've done parades, festivals, fashion shows, boxing, MMA. I've done stuff at home. I've been a big voice guy. In fact, check this out, folks. I have right here, this is a card. I'm going to read this off. This is a match card. I believe this is Carolina Teague's writing. I could be wrong. This could be Eliana. But it says the following contest is for the RCW Phoenix Championship, scheduled for one fall. There will be a 30-minute time limit. The challenger from Corpus Christi, Texas, the sensational Savage Ridley Thorne. And the opponent, alongside the best manager, debatable, Nastico from Fort Worth. She is one of a kind, Emmy Camacho. Show! See that, folks? Right there. Now, you want to talk about how it's done? That is how you do it. I'm sure we will revisit this feud with Eliana later, but there you go, moving on. That is how we started off the show, is with her bullying the general manager out of the ring, and I'm just not going to take very kindly to that. All right, let's see. Yeah, I don't need to be shown how it's done. Been doing this probably since like the late 90s. Big voice guy for quite a long time. Worked in TV news and did the big voice thing for a little bit. You know, your KQ2 hometown news at 6. Blah, blah, blah. This is how an announcer talks. And it also in the process of that, while everybody's like, he, we think that's so cute. Not that I want to take my cues and rip off John Cena, but, you know, I absolutely understand where John Cena comes from. I have done nothing but try and entertain the people for the last several years now through my clients, through stuff, you know, bringing in the best matches. I delivered huge on this show. Raina Pink wants to try and take a bunch of credit for it and link a lineage and the Texas treats and all this stuff, but I'm having not a bar of that, folks, because I am the men's general manager and I run the men's division, and I'm pretty sure I found a awesome opponent for Armani Sage. Answered the call, called me on the phone and said, hey man, I heard this kid, you know, needs put in his place. Now, did he get involved in the title picture? Yeah, he sure did, but we'll get to that when we get to that. And so I come out and I do this, and what do? You laugh and you carry on and you think Eliana is so great, and I get just nothing but disrespect. You know, I get where he's coming from when he comes out and he said, you know, you people deserve nothing, and I will give it to you in abundance. Keep pushing me, people, and you'll see where that goes as far as RCW goes. Let's see. So, yeah, we had the Ridley Thorne versus Emmy Camacho with Nastico match, which saw Emmy retain, which is a bummer. I really like Ridley. I would like to see her progress in the title picture. I believe she could possibly be a champion someday. She's too big, too bad, too mean. You know what I mean? So, there we go. Terrell Tempo versus Gino Medina, always a classic. Gino Medina, one of the greatest RCW champions that we've had in, I will call it the modern era. Carried the company with great pride. Gino was champion quickly during my initial run in the company, pre-general manager, winning the belt from Falaba. And then went on to do bigger and better things. And yeah, so there you go. That was a great match. The ROW it's the Diamonds Championship. I believe there's a picture of me. I got to hold the Diamonds Championship. I get to do what I always wanted to do as a kid at shows. You know, let me hold the belt. I held the belt, you know. Speaking of belts, check this out. We've added to the collection right here. This is the International Championship, which I led Anthony Andrews, adorable Anthony Andrews, to at Young Guns about, 5 years ago-ish? And anyway, we held that belt for nearly 3 years, and so, crazy deal. When I became a manager, I knew I wanted to manage champions, and I have. I've managed the RCW International Champion. Of course, you can see the RCW Championship right here. This is the very belt that Mysterious Q, now known as Carter Black, wore around his waist when we went to GCWA in Corpus Christi, Texas. And then, of course, in the middle, never dreamed I would ever win anything in professional wrestling, and I did. I won Manager of the Year, and I want to touch on that. So there was a comment made during one of the matches while Nastico was out, and it was stated, it says, well, Nastico walks around calling himself the Manager of the Year. You know, too bad there's never been a contest or anything that's been held to, or not the Manager of the Year, he calls himself the Best Manager, right? I am the best manager. I am Nastico. I can't quite do the thing. But, yeah, he calls himself the best manager, and too bad there's never been a contest or anything to determine the best manager in Texas. Well, let me remind you, once again, this belt hangs on the wall. The plaque is right here, folks. You can't see it. But 2021, 2022, back-to-back victories went to this guy as the Texas Wrestling Manager of the Year, and you can say what you want to. Never cheated, followed the rules 100% to the T. Even though they kept trying to change them as the time went on, I'm the best manager. I'm the greatest manager in Texas. Hands down. They had to shut the competition down after I won because they knew that nobody would ever win it again. I've done so much winning in my career, and that's what it's about right here. So there was a contest that was held, and you can't take that away from me. So, there's that. Moving on. J-Wave versus Nastico. Let's talk about that. Man, a lot of people were excited for that. Like, they think that J-Wave versus Nastico is going to be some 5-star epic event. Maybe, like, if you throw in there somewhere, but that would be a dangerous situation because, folks, I don't wrestle. I come out swinging every single time you corner me. I'd love to maybe officiate that match. That seems like that would be interesting. But yeah, so they popped for J-Wave versus Nastico. Actually, my favorite part of that whole thing was where they both got like hit right in the balls. It couldn't have happened to two nicer guys. Same thing with J-Wave being tied up by the Funakis. How great was that match? How great is it? It's always wonderful to see Funaki. I love Funaki. So when I was a kid, like Kai and Tai was one of my favorite things. I loved chop it your pee-pee. Was it kind of overtly racist and like, you know, Vince McMahon's thing? Because I've always said, like, seems like professional wrestling, maybe not anymore, but there for a while was like the last bastion of like racism on television. And, you know, they used to cut those awesome promos where they would come out, it's like, we are going to defeat you. Doing the Godzilla bit, you know. And then, but Funaki was always my boy. Funaki always got to finish those with that, indeed. And then, of course, I loved it when he was a SmackDown, a number one announcer. Anyway, always great to see Funaki. I love the 13-year-old boy in me that used to jump off of stuff and yell, indeed! Loves the fact that Funaki is in a locker room on my roster. I think that's very cool, and we love Funaki, and it was great to see him back in action alongside his son, getting a little bit of retribution. I was on a headset when that video played, and there was Funaki tied up by the Texas Treats at Rumble Royale, and so to see retribution given, yeah, absolutely, and, you know, it made my heart happy to see J-Wave tied up out there. Matter of fact, I went out and I took a selfie, and Pink can say everything that she wants over on other podcasts about how we shouldn't abuse our co-workers and everybody gotta get along and it's just absolutely wrong. Well, she's full of crap, okay? Watching J-Wave get tied up, watching J-Wave get kicked in the nuts, punched in the nuts, however you want to look at it, alongside with, you know, Nastico, I said, did my heart happy. So, you know, 5 out of 5 stars on that. I have here in my notes, did Chris Marvel really win? No! Chris Marvel shouldn't have even been in that match. I understand, 20 plus years of RCW, and he's never held the title, and now he's got the title. Well, he cheated. He cheated. And he didn't even cheat. Boy, howdy, everybody came out of the woodwork to help him cheat in that match. The Texas Treats were out there. Alberto Al Patron, which I will get to in a second, came out and helped him cheat in that match. He shouldn't have been in the first place. He did not win at Rumble Royale. And again, Pink got involved in that. And because of her involvement, here comes Oliver down from his perch and decides to make this a triple threat match. Yeah, great, fantastic. And everybody's like, oh yeah, the Treats are the best. Are they really the best if they just have to cheat to win? No, they're the best at cheating, maybe. And you people are still going to be like, whoa, that's the greatest thing in the world. I don't understand. Having said that, Alberto Al Patron was there. What? So, Armani Sage, I told you, he cut me a very nice check to be on RCW Mania, and he said, I want to issue an open challenge to whomever, and I said, yeah, kid, go ahead, knock yourself out. And so I get a phone call once we start advertising this, and yeah, it's this Mexico phone number, you know, San Antonio, because he's there in AAA's from San Antonio, of course. But I get this phone call, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm doing my thing, and I'm, representing, I'm the grand champion all over so, anyway, it's Alberto, right? And he says, I would be honored if we could come do this. I'm like, heck yeah, come on down, man. So, bada boom, bada bang. Here he comes. Armani Sage issues the thing, and he thinks he's going to get by with it. He's like, let's do the count out. Let's make sure that I'm the man, right? And then that music hits, and here comes Alberto. And actually, he got announced wrong by Miss, let me show you how to do it. She called him Alberto Del Rio, and that is not his name. I'm just saying, if you're gonna do it, not even if you're gonna do it. I'm not saying that I haven't mispronounced something in my career. It happens. In fact, I had this very conversation, it seems like, years ago with Miss Eliana, because she pronounced my name wrong, which was very frustrating to me. Anyway, yeah, no, he is not Alberto Del Rio right now. He is Alberto El Patron. Has he been known as Alberto Del Rio in the past? Yes, ma'am, he has. But do your homework and be prepared. I mean, you can't just spout out his, former name like that. So I'm just saying. We'll talk about this is how it's done. Like, I haven't done this before. I'm still general manager of the show, so... Anyway, let's see. Gino Medina, thank you, Pink, for making that happen. And then, highlight of the evening. Okay, we want to talk about the Sho Funaki match again. Like, that was a great match, but my favorite part of that match was the Benny Hill style chase that went on that nobody on Title Match got to see for reasons. I guess production didn't pick it up, but yeah, there was this awesome, thing that I would have loved to see sped up and set to that yakety sax. So I guess you have to be there live at an RCW event to be able to see what's going on and see all of the cool moments, not just whatever is picked and chosen to go on Title Match Network. And that's not a slam on Title Match Network, that's just production error, I suppose. But yeah, that's unwrapping RCW Mania. That's my thoughts on what happened. I don't know what's going on around. I did want to touch on this. We talk about ring announcers who tried to be the star of the show and, then got bent out of shape when it's like, no, you can't push your other stuff. Former WWE announcer Samantha Irvin claims that her music video has been shadow banned from YouTube. So in April, she announced that she was releasing a music video for her song called Shawty Wanna, but there appears to be an issue with the video not showing up on in YouTube searches. And on May the 1st, Samantha's husband Ricochet, of course, wrote the following message on X, formerly known as Twitter, and he says, hey, YouTube, why doesn't Samantha the Bomb's video pop up when I type in Samantha the Bomb's Shawty Wanna music video? Seems fishy. And she writes, well, my music video is completely shadow banned on YouTube. When a fan asked if people were reporting her video, she responded with a lot of them did. They were bragging in the comments. When another fan questioned why people would do that, Samantha wrote that it's because she's, quote, not there to let them know how much everybody weighs. This gal is so flippin' bitter, man. It's just, she tried to use wrestling as a means to get herself over for this other thing, and when they didn't, she just kind of just gone completely off. And, I mean, I'm here to go, good on wrestling. I wasn't a big fan of the way she presented herself. Again, I don't think that the ring announcer is supposed to be the star of the show. The ring announcer is there to, kind of like what she said, let everybody know how much somebody weighs, where they're from, what they're doing. They are not there to be the show. Let's see. What else is going on in the world of wrestling? Eric comments on Vince McMahon changing the name of the War Raiders. Nobody cares. Mercedes Monet offering... Oh, okay. What is this? AEW TBS champion Mercedes Monet is offering Text Buddies service to fans for $99.99 a month. It was announced on MercedesMonet.com that AEW TBS champion Mercedes Monet is offering a Text Buddy service to fans. Details from the website, it says, Quote, my super fans have always been my super friends. Now, like friends, they can text me directly and privately. I'm so excited to finally connect this way. Sign up and text me now. We're buddies, but you gotta pay me $100 a month for exclusive one-on-one personal and private messages. I can only imagine how this is gonna go when you're talking to wrestling fans. Get my private number that only my super fans can use. And then it shows how it works, and spots are extremely limited if you want to chat with me directly for just $99.99 a month. You can text Mercedes Monet, the former Sasha Banks of WWE. Good grief. How about this? Hulk Hogan's freestyle wrestling. What is that gonna be like? Hulk Hogan announced Real American Freestyle Wrestling. By the way, I like Hulkster coming out with the stubble. You know he means business when he's Hollywood Hogan with the stubble going on. Let's see what Mr. Hogan has to say. So, I'm curious to see how this is going to go. Is it going to be like we're going to present real... I think about that episode of South Park all the time. That's not wrestling! And then, you know, sir, can you please turn off your gay nonsense? But I think about that episode when I think about this. But, no. So, he's going to present, like, real freestyle amateur wrestling, but presented like WWE, UFC style stuff. Because, I mean, this could be really cool. Like, you've got guys coming out, and it's like, you know, here's the killer versus the brawler, and they're going to come out in their singlets, and they're going to actually, like, freaking wrestle. But it's like, you know, we've got the music and the spectacle going. This could be very, very interesting. But yeah, this post is, well, it's from today. Aaron Rift writes this on NoDQ.com. Earlier this week, Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff announced the launch of Real American Freestyle Wrestling with Izzy Martinez as Chief Operating Officer. I don't know a lot about Izzy Martinez other than he is a amateur wrestling coach. And has coached some pretty high-profile people. I'm sure we'll talk about this later on. It says, while speaking to Adam's Apple, Hogan commented on plans for the league to build personalities. And Hogan said, I have to tell you, we're not going to do this with 25 writers in the back telling you what to be or how to act or what catchphrase to say. We're going real organic with these guys. All right, so that sounds like it's interesting. The thing I worried about was with these amateur wrestlers, do they have the swag? Do they know how to bring an edge to their real personality? But after I met with them, they all had that Conor McGregor swag. They've all watched TV. They've seen the promos. They know about branding. These kids are really, really smart, brother. So, there you have it. And Hulk Hogan says that the goal of Real American Freestyle Wrestling is to be just as big or bigger than WWE, UFC. So yeah, Izzy Martinez, Chief Branding Officer, they went on Fox and Friends, and Hogan commented on plans for the league, and he says, quote, basically we're going to go to all the major venues. Our first one is August the 30th in Cleveland, but the main thing is because Eric's so darn important to this venture, he knows how to deliver, produce, and make the fans care about these athletes. 30 years ago, he knew how to deliver, produce, and make fans care about WCW. This is me speaking. I'm not in the article anymore. But that's a very interesting statement. And I say that because, if you remember, Hulk Hogan and Bischoff went over to TNA back in 2010, and it wasn't so bueno. They didn't do anything to make anybody care about anything. They shoved a lot of celebrities in your face, and they were like, well, here's Jimmy Hart, and here's Bubba the Love Sponge, and here's Ric Flair, and here's the Nasty Boys, and here's this person, and here's this person, and they ended up pissing off the locker room, and, you know, nobody ultimately cared about the weird TNA thing that they had going on. So, can he still do this? You know, I agree with the statement that he made. I've got his book. I love it. Controversy creates cash. If you can make a bunch of noise over here and make people go, huh? I mean, you've got something, but the thing is you've got to maintain their attention. So can they still do that? Can they make people still care about what is going on? But yeah, it's I go on Hulk Hogan's quote. It says, when Eric was explaining to me, he goes, it's like The Voice. You shoot the backstory, you know, the whole he broke his leg when he was younger and his family fell apart, or he got rewards for wrestling growing up. But once we find out what the backstory is, when these guys come through the tunnel, you already care about the athletes, which is a very good premise. You know, the reality TV shows have been doing that for a long time. You know, it's like, well, you know, my mama got cancer when it's the Hank Jr. Well, my daddy died when I was 3. Mama never bounced me on her knee. Grandma and grandpa done passed on. So I get that. Okay, it's like, well, now all of a sudden you have a vested interest in this person. Are people going to buy it? I don't know. I'm interested. He goes on to say, Izzy's our linchpin. He's trained all of the Olympic athletes, all of the NCAA champions, and all the college kids that have really made it. So that's interesting. And he was our source to pull in all of these great athletes and get everybody signed. And our goal is not to be... That's a very interesting statement. Do I believe if given the opportunity they won't be competitive? I'm not going to say that that's not going to be a thing, but it's something different. I mean, again, the Hulkster throughout his career has done some interesting things, and he's never been able to quite make anything stick outside of his mainstream wrestling stuff. I was about to say his WWE career, but he did all right in WCW. In fact, I mean, he was Hollywood Hogan of the NWO. I loved Hollywood Hogan. As a kid, you know, I've talked about this in my Hogan episode. I was always kind of a Roddy Piper guy, but I liked Hollywood Hogan. I thought Hollywood Hogan was very interesting. But yeah, you know, Pasta Mania. And that's not to say somebody could come on here and be like, well, let's talk about Logan Pettis' failures, you know, but my failures, I guess, aren't on the grand scheme of Hulk Hogan. So, I mean, you could call this show probably a failure because all 7 of you that are watching right now, you know, are not going to get in an uproar if I just cancel this thing. But, like Pasta Mania didn't go over. His celebrity wrestling thing was weird. He had another video game Xbox thing that was like Learn to Wrestle with Hulk Hogan or something like that. And then I think he had a juicer or a blender or something like that. So I don't know. But this seems interesting. I mean, Bischoff Harvey Entertainment has been around and produced some things. You know, that Scott Baio show was pretty cool. So I kind of hope that this thing sticks. Here's an interesting article that just scrolled across. I was thinking about this the other day. Somebody was showing a picture. This is from today, and a press release has come out. It says, May the 2nd, 2025, All Elite Wrestling Today announced that the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia will host an exclusive multi-week residency of AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision, making the first time in history that AEW events have been held at the historic venue. These events are in addition to the previously announced Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor event on Friday, September the 5th. And then they list the residency dates as follows. Wednesday, August 27th, Saturday, August 30th, Wednesday, September 3rd, Friday, September 5th, Saturday, September 6th, Wednesday, September 10th, Thursday, September 11th. We are thrilled to bring AEW Dynamite. This is a quote from Tony Khan. We are thrilled to bring AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision to the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia from August 27th to September the 11th. And this residency has been years in the making, highlighted by an overwhelming demand from both fans and media alike for this legendary venue to host AEW events. I look forward to returning to the 2300 Arena for the first time since I was 13 years old and bring our passionate fans in Philadelphia an incredible few weeks of AEW shows this summer. Ticket information for AEW Dynamite, Collision, and ROH Ring Death Before Dishonor at 2300 Arena will be announced in the near future. Fans interested in early access can register to become an AEW insider by visiting All Elite. So AEW at the 2300 Arena. For those of you that don't know what the 2300 Arena is, 2300 Arena is the former ECW Arena, Extreme Championship Wrestling, of course, from the 90s. Paul Heyman and all of them ran there for a long time, down on the corner of Swanson and Rittner. I have seen it. I've never been inside it. And then I was thinking about this the other day. I was looking at a picture of the inside of the arena, and somebody was talking about, what ECW meant to them and so on and so forth. And it was like to be able to perform in this arena. And there's a part of me that's like, yeah, it would be really cool to perform in that arena to even see that arena. And I mean, it's still the building, but again, without having ever set foot inside it. And by the time I saw it, it was the same year that they were gearing up for the first ECW, the One Night Stand, and I believe it's called the New Alhambra Arena at the time. But I feel like all of the character has been stripped from it, you know? Some might argue much like professional wrestling. But yeah, I mean, I've always heard that it was this bingo hall, and, you know, you see the old videos, and you see the stuff, and the bingo board is up, and whatever, and it was dirty, and it was nasty, and it was smelly, and it was this, and it was that. Anyway, now you look at it, and you see the lighting rigs, and you see the stuff, and I've heard it's got air conditioning in it, and it's just a really nice, I mean, it's a venue now. So, I mean, I don't know if it's cool anymore. I mean, yeah, somebody will see it on a like wrestling resume and be like, oh, you performed at the ECW arena. It's just like in music, you know, the coolest thing to do is to perform at the National Quartet Convention, you know, or sports, you know, you played at the Super Bowl, and it's like, I mean, nothing is what it used to be, and I guess I've gotten old to have that opinion. But anyway, so, I mean, I don't want to take anything from it or make a negative connotation. It's just something that I was thinking of. Is it the same to wrestle in it today, you know, than it would have been back then? But anyway, let's see here. I just got this scrolled across. Breaking news! According to Fightful.com, internal memos were sent out that have indicated the releases of the following wrestlers from WWE: Caden Carter, Katana Chance, Dakota Kai, Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Riley Osborne, Gigi Dolan. Of course, this comes from Sean Ross Sapp, so noted that we may hear that some of their contracts weren't renewed. Mike Johnson of PW Insider reported that Cora Jade, Jakara Jackson, Eddie Thorpe, and Gallus, Joe and Mark, Coffey, and Wolfgang were also among the WWE departures. Cora confirmed her exit with the following message: Thankful for all my childhood dreams I got to live out. I have a lot to say in due time, and that's on X. She is Elena Black. Cora Jade, WWE. On Tuesday, Dakota Kai wrote, I miss wrestling and I miss you guys, followed by not hurt, by the way, but ended up deleting both of her posts. I think that's interesting when people do stuff like that. So, there you go. Braun Strowman, Caden Carter, Katana Chance, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai. That's a bummer. Braun Strowman was brought in. They were getting ready to have a big thing, him and EC3, and they had their, Create Your Narrative, CYN. They were going to have a CYN RCW event in San Antonio, and then, it's like, no, we got to have Braun Strowman, and we brought back the Monster Among Men to the WWE, and really, I don't think they did a whole lot with him. You can hit me up in the comments section. Hit me up in the comments section about anything, really, related to this, or hit me up in the comment section. I was thinking like and subscribe is what I was trying to say. Like and subscribe, and tell all your friends about me. I want you to tell all your friends about me. Who are you? I'm Batman. So it's been a crazy week, y'all. We've had family medical emergencies this week. We've had all sorts of junk here at the Hacienda de Pettis in Wouldn't You Like to Know, Texas. There've been some other people. I'm not gonna talk about what I know. It's their story to tell, and I don't have permission. But there's been some other folks that have had some stuff. Don Juan is still having health injury issues. Shiva Queen, health issues. Support them. Check out their GoFundMe pages. United 210 Wrestling here in San Antonio that RCW works closely with. This week, they were slated to have a show last Friday, and the city of San Antonio shut them down. They didn't meet a city code. They were performing in a place called The Yard, which is in a literal backyard, and the city didn't like that. So they're facing some legal fees, and I mean, it's just one more place for the boys and girls to work. So yeah, it's been an interesting week. I want to shout out again as we talk about this beautiful pillow. If you would like one of these pillows, Raoul's Sports Store and Collectibles, located in Rolling Oaks Mall. They are no longer up on the top floor next to the food court. I believe they're downstairs now. I need to go check out the new store. They just moved. But if you would like one of these handsome pillows, I'm pretty sure they can make you one. Anyway, shout outs. I would never do this necessarily publicly, so I hope nobody tells him. Ryan Vargas, who is the eldest son of Raul and Donna, of Raul's Sports Store and Collectibles, located inside the Rolling Oaks Mall. I'm up for sponsorship. Ryan needed to have, for those of you that don't know, that may be from out of state, we are in Fiesta time in San Antonio. Fiesta San Antonio! And today, I believe, was the Parade of Flowers. So if you're watching this, this is Parade of Flowers Day. Anyway, Ryan needed a float for his class for something, and he wanted to make a indie wrestling float, and he had it there, and there it was. It had Hybrid on one side, RCW on the other side, United 210 on the other side, and there's all the usual cast of characters, people that I'm used to seeing: Rob Love, Stud Stash, Don Juan and Chris Marvel, the Texas Treats, maybe Callie and Tita. I don't know who all was on this thing, and I was like, oh, well, you know, that's cute. And then we panned around, and there I am, and that was nice. That made this rough week so much better. And so, Ryan, thank you very much for including me in your float. It's really cool. Sometimes when you sit and you wonder, you know, does it matter what I'm doing? Does anyone care? You know, I say that a lot. It's like, no one cares. I had that drilled into my head. No one cares, Logan. No one cares. Don't care. Don't worry about what story we're telling. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what tie you're wearing. You know, whatever. To be smack in the middle of all of those people is really cool, and I can't express what that means. So, thank you. Very cool. Well, we're almost at that time, folks. I've yammered on about whatever I've yammered on about for long enough. Without a guest, this is what you get. So, there you go. I gave you a little bit of news, gave you a little bit of RCW. Thank you to Ryan. If you want merch, you can check out Raul Sports Store and Collectibles. They can get you these pillows. They can make you custom shirts. They can do just about anything that you would imagine. Plus, they've got really cool sports memorabilia and collectibles. Obviously, it's in their name. And get this, if you go check it out, and Raul is there. So Raul is in my favorite scene in the movie Selena, like, you know, where the show opens and she's like spinning around doing the thing, and then it cuts to like her in a concert. Anyway, and she's up there singing Baila, baila tu cumbia. And you know, she's up there singing and she takes her top off, and then her dad's there and he goes, "Es un bra!" That's the Spanish version. That's my favorite scene in it. That's a bra, it's a bustier, I think it's cute. Anyway, Edward James Olmos is amazing in that scene. Well, anyway, Raul gets up and dances with Selena, Jennifer Lopez, in that scene, and he does like the Running Man, I believe. So it's really cool. So if you want to see one of the stars of Selena, you can go check out Raul Sports Store and Collectibles, Rolling Oaks Mall, and yeah, say hey to Raul, get an autograph, tell him Logan sent you, and that'll get you a 0% discount on just about everything in the store. Check out the merch. She does have shirts. If you like me, buy a shirt. If you hate me, buy a shirt. They say Logan Pettis sucks across them. I don't know who designed that or who okayed that, but whatever, dude. All right. So anyway, that's my time. I'm Logan Pettis. This is the Logan Pettis Show. Like and subscribe. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. Check out Raul's Sports Store. Check out River City Wrestling, RCW. Our next show is Stars and Stripes Forever, July the 6th, from the Von Erich Ranch in Boerne, Texas. So, there you go. Until next time, hopefully we'll get a guest on here. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, we might get Carolina T. Hot shot from the Spurs. We'll see what happens. But we're in talks with quite a few people. So thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for checking out YouTube. Again, Raul Sports Store, ProWrestlingTees.com/LoganPred. ProWrestlingTees.com/River City Wrestling, I believe, or maybe it's just RCW. Anyway, you can find Pro Wrestling Tees. RCW has its own store, and there you have it. Oh, check out, make sure you donate to the GoFundMe's, United 210, Don Juan's, and of course, Shiva Queens, and there you go. We'll see y'all later.